do this in English because mainly because we have guest Michal Skoda from Czech Republic and Tilland. Without them two, there wouldn't be a show anyhow, because that was for me kind of incentive to do something with the three of us and something we had in common. And this discussion tonight is also kind of a preparation for a discussion later in the year in Brussels, and this will be on the topic of modernism. The Museum of Contemporary Art in Brussels center of contemporary.
No.
Yeah, oh yes, sure. But the museum starts at the...
Well, the first Biennale in Brussels will happen this year. And all the subject is practices of modernism and contemporary art. So, place I'm related to participating in this. We curate a show there, and we will host a symposium.
Yeah.
Which is more his work than mine.
So really,
it's more his work and
the symposium.
Well, it's more between you and the obviously, but we curate a show as a subject.
Yeah, so this subject is modernism, and I kept a symposium at the Free Academy on the same subject about a year ago. So some people attended that last year, so they will see some similarities, I suppose. Well, to me it's very special that there are like 17 artists from all over the world, I think, and without any reasonable budget in a way. So people sent their work from Australia, like Billy Gruner and Daniel Argyle, and people came from Düsseldorf to build up the show. And yeah, all the other artists, I think everybody took their effort free, so thank you very much. The show, what I had in mind with the show is actually pretty well described in the press release. So I take the liberty to read it from the press release and then take some elements out of it which are about modernism and about other things which can lead hopefully to a discussion. So in the press release I stated, this practice of making objects brings in memory the new three-dimensional art as described in Donald Judd's Specific Objects from 1965. Art which is painting nor sculpture nor other traditional form of art, but in contrary to Judd's new art, it's not artists who have painting because traditional painting is supposed to be a depleted area. They do not reject the use of linen, paint or craftsmanship. They are painters trying to intensify their painting by adding a layer. And I added now what calls modern word to this layer. And they do this in a visual language that seems very familiar. A language remembering the modernistic experiments of the past, but then again, fortunately, without the iconoclastic destructivity which accompanied modernism. Nowadays, the younger generation of abstractionists seem to be freed from the burdens of the past and the apparent limitations of the successive media. They turn to the dogmatic modernism into an area with the perspective of freedom and playfulness. So well, from this text, and most of you might have read it, I took 3 elements. And the first element is the modernism. The second is the specific objects, text by Donald Judd. And the last one is the element of playfulness, because I think that's what's happening here. It's a very playful kind of modernism. Tim will help me setting up this discussion, and we talked a lot about it, and he came up with a very nice quote. I thought it was from John Armlader, but actually it's not. It's by Italian publicist who wrote a book about John Armlader, and it's the quote here. Should I read it? Is connect from where you, can you read it from there?
No.
If it's not to become a sterile prospect, utopia must take on a concrete form and be embodied in something people can experience in their daily life. So, John Arnader goes back to modernism. That modernism was about ideology, but he brings it back to a human level in a way. These are the three elements I just mentioned. So in the discussions with Tilman, I sensed a lot of confusion about what modernism and what postmodernism actually is. And usually discussions start with style, which style is postmodern or what is modern, or in which period started modernism, or when did it end. So I don't want to start a discussion about definitions from when did it start or when did it and is this postmodern or not. But I try to explain it with describing the attitude. And I think for most artists, especially for me, I can relate actually to both attitudes in a way. Sometimes I think I'm a postmodernist, and sometimes I think maybe I'm a
So if you would like...
Very interesting that Bruner said, I prefer to pay a homage to artists from the past.
It is the same in appropriation too. You know, if this is your concept of next art,
yeah, but
how do you call it a homage and this is appropriation? I mean, in a same way, I would say close. He doesn't say this is an homage to that artist. He doesn't say that. He just uses the concept of homage.
No, he doesn't.
Which is an appropriation.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it's an homage to.
That's already a step.
Well, that's homage.
Yeah, it's already a step to
yeah, well, you name a name.
Yeah.
A little bit out of it.
That's true.
So that's a
Next time
he appropriates the subject of homage.
That's true.
Clearly, to me.
Unless
you say it's homage to Maarten Voskuil.
yeah.
And it looks maybe like Maarten Voskuil, but it's a big, and that's a homage. It's a homage. You know, the idea of the homage is an appropriation. He doesn't name it.
No.
I mean, that's
No,
homage.
no, okay, no. Homage is like you are.
Yeah, but
name it and you are.
But he doesn't name the artist. He doesn't
No,
say
when he does it, then it's not a
word
homage.
and 5 stripes, and he doesn't call it homage to that word. He just
That's
says,
true. And I think
why
you are
the
right.
name is
In
homage.
the text, he doesn't mention an artist.
He never does. I know.
So
Which is a concept, which is an appropriated concept.
yeah, that's true. I noticed too that he didn't mention any name, but the concept of bringing a homage to me is more, well, maybe.
Yeah, well, you know.
For
Yeah, but it's interesting exception. Language,
yeah. And the last opposition I found, I added to it, is underground and avant-garde. To me, under the surface, I realized only afterwards, after I had declined already in the press release, and I thought under the surface actually means underground. Could be, well, it's, and underground is for me a very postmodern attitude, in a way that it is very about the self, it's very about the individual against society, and it started in the 50s, modernist times with William Burroughs and Kerouac, but actually it's about the individual and also about no future. So to me it's a very postmodern thing, and well, yeah, it's always true. The opposite is what modernist artists are they call themselves avant-garde. So the artist was always the visionary and leading the troops to a new better world, and a new better art at least. So that's the ideal view of the artists, well, until 1950 at least.
Yeah.
I think many of them went to Russia to help the communist regime. So this would be a question to the artists around. Do you feel more like underground artists, or do you want to be more like avant-garde artists? Or is this a position in a good favor?